Hello Targar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Orc Mode workout. And today was max effort squat and deadlift day. So what we've done this time, because 2 weeks ago we did heavy chains, and last week we did bands. And so each time we do bands, we're going to try to go heavier as far as band tension goes. And each time we do chains, we're going to reduce tension, because I started with just over 100 pounds of chains. This week I did 90 pounds of chains and built up to a max. And I felt like today it was pretty well a true max. I mean, we didn't miss anything, but it's definitely getting up there. Because I got to the 405 plus the chains, and it felt pretty heavy. And then I went ahead and went up to 425. And in terms of just probably overall weight, that's a PR, because it's probably about 5 pounds heavier at the lockout than my last chain squat, and something in the way of 15 to 20 pounds heavier at the bottom. Right, because we know it's 20 pounds more weight. We just have to try to figure out, how much chain tension we're losing at the bottom. So it's in the ballpark of 15 to 20 pounds difference. Probably closer to 20 realistically, because the chains are completely coiled up. So we're heavier at the bottom and then a hair heavier at the top. So that's good. That's going to definitely be a strength increase. So I'm happy with that, but I am going to say it was hard. Like that one there, you guys noticed it still looked pretty clean. When we go up to the 425 plus the chains, and for again those curious, that's basically 515 at the top. And then the bottom, it's 425 plus however much of the chain is still on there, the lead chains and all that stuff. So, you figure 5 to 10 pounds being added at the bottom. So it's basically somewhere in the range of 430 to 435 at the bottom with 515 at the lockout. And it's easy to do when we do it all with straight weight, where we just add weight like this. This is so much easier than when you mess with things like reverse bands or any of that nonsense, because this we really have an accurate measurement of the weight up and down. Right? It's pretty hard to mask anything. And then I decided to work on my grip. I'm like, man, I just loved the way the deadlifts felt for the grip with the bands last time. So I decided to run a lot of band tension today and just pull some singles from my grip. Now I'm going to state up front, this first one, I didn't set my hook well enough, and it slipped at the top. Right? It slipped at the top. So that goes to show you just how hard bands pull. And I feel like I need to make some videos discussing the difference between pulling against heavy bands versus chains. Bands are way, way, way harder. They're way harder. In fact, sometimes even doing your max deadlift, if you're locking it with bands, like what would be your max if it was straight weight, of weight plus band tension at the top. So like your 500 pound deadlifter, if you ran, 350 pounds of plates and then 150 pounds of band at the top, you'd be surprised how heavy it feels at the top. And it really just hammers my grip. Like this is the most ridiculous hook grip training I've ever done, is pulling against bands. The second one, I locked it and I held it, right? Just for a short bit. And it's like, oh my God. And then on the third one, I actually tore skin on my thumb. I tore skin on my thumb, and it's in a new place. I have never torn my skin before on that place in my thumb. So it's going to build a nice callus, and it's not so bad. It would have gotten worse. It's not like it ripped to the point where I was bleeding, but I definitely peeled a layer of skin off my thumb. So that's going to form a nice little callus that's going to keep toughening my thumbs up. So I was really happy with this as far as just grip training goes. And again, like you guys noticed, I got up to the lockout and had to set it back down because I felt my thumb pull. Like it's just ridiculous training. So it's not intended to be maxes there, by the way. We're just trying to get some relatively heavy pulls in as practice with the different variations. And a lot of that is about the grip training and everything else. And again, after doing the max squat, that's fine. We don't need to actually max that often on deadlifts on this system. It's all sub-maximal. And every now and then I can pull a max to test where it's at. And I will do that eventually, get over and just ramp up to a heavy sumo and just see where my max is. But it's not something I'm going to do too often. Not something we need to do that often. Then we did the chest supported rows. Now that I've gone back down to just 205 on these for 5x5 every workout, feels a lot better. Definitely notice I can feel it all through the back musculature, the stuff I'm trying to work. Feel it tremendously through there. So it's definitely getting the job done. Definitely getting the job done. And that's something, again, should probably make individual videos on, discussing why things like the chest supported rows, how it carries over to your other lifts, why you would do this as a more advanced lifter. Because, a lot of my novices are like, why do you have us do all this standing work and you do less of it? It's like, because of all my deadlifting and squatting. Essentially, I get so much total axial loading work from those, I don't need to do anything else that's standing. There's no point. Everything else is just about muscular development, joint angle specificity, and hypertrophy, right? But yeah, these are going pretty good. I feel like I'm getting the benefits I want to see: extra grip training, all that upper back work. Because again, my upper back, I've got to keep growing it, and that includes things like the rear delts, the traps, all of that stuff, right? Rhomboids, thoracic erectors. So it's not just about lats, right? My lats are fine from all the heavy pull-ups and chin-ups. And again, I'm sure since I make a comment like that, I've got a new big old influx of trolls in every day that I ban about 30 of them, since they're all freaking out about all the troll channels getting closed down. Which, by the way, just for the record, I didn't actually submit reports for that. My Google rep took care of that. So I actually didn't even do that. So people who are like talking about fraudulent reports, I didn't file any reports. YouTube did that themselves. I didn't file those. So just for those curious, for the record, I actually didn't report any of those channels through the formal process at all with any forms. It wasn't necessary. Again, my rep over at Google took care of all that and sent it over to the team, the harassment team, and they looked at all those channels individually and just pulled them all down. And they'll get rid of all the new ones that are popping up later too, because it's a violation of YouTube's policy. Then we did the hip belt squats. And with these got spaced out because I had, after the first two sets, I had some major technical difficulties with my camera. My GoPro wouldn't work. I had to take it all down, swap batteries out of it. I guess the battery died and I had to let the new one charge for like 10 minutes. I pulled everything that was off the card off of it already and manually put that on the computer, because normally I just plug it into the computer and it just reads, and had to let all that sort. So it ended up taking me like 30 minutes before I could get to the other three sets. So my workout really got spaced out today. I wouldn't normally do that. Normally I only take about 3 minutes between these. But that's how it had to go, and they still went well. For those curious, yes, I added a 10. That black is only a 10-pound plate. That's all it weighs. But we're just going to load these up slowly. And what I want to do is get as strong as possible on 5 sets of 5 with these. And since I'm only doing these once a week now on my max effort squat day, because I want my dynamic day to be a little more deadlift oriented, because we do such very little deadlifting on the other days. Like today, I mean, those were 3 sub-maximal pulls that were really for grip with the bands more than anything. We want to have a little bit more focus as far as lifts that'll work deadlifts. And I may start working in some more good mornings eventually for that. So again, as I get my neck stronger to be able to handle that safety squat bar, we may start doing some really, really heavy good mornings with the safety bar later. But again, we work it all in as necessary. That's how assistance and accessory movements go. You can't do everything all the time, particularly in my case. Not blasting gear. I'm not in a caloric surplus, right? So we can't have unlimited training volume. You can only handle so many exercises. But I will find a place to rotate them in eventually. I feel like they'll carry over to my deadlifts a lot. They'll carry over a lot. But for now, we're getting enough stuff with the hip belt squats, the extra rowing, the glute ham raises. We're getting in enough deadlift extra stuff, supplemental lifts for now, but eventually I will need to increase that. And I know the good mornings will help tremendously in the long term. And these hip belt squats, these things are never comfortable. Even with that belt, these things are so uncomfortable. But they work. They do what I need them to do. They're very easy to recover from, but they do have ways of beating you up because they do chafe your thighs. They do chafe your flank area. Like that belt digs in. That's why I have to wear the belt under it. It's literally to get that leather to push back against it, because it digs so hard into my side. And it would be different if I only had 100 pounds on here. But I mean, at this point, if you guys look, I've got, I think, 285 on there. It's just a lot of weight to be hanging around your waist, and it's just extremely uncomfortable no matter what you do. And you just accept that with a lift like this. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's a lift that pays a lot of dividends, but it's not fun to do. But we got our 5x5 today on this, and then I'm going to do some glute ham raises as this is rendering. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.